Kitty here, and welcome to Ask Kitty. As you know, I reached out on Twitter the other day asking for questions, whether they be random or personal. Majority of them were random or whatever, and I'm not going to be doing any of that fancy jazz where I bring up the tweet on the screen, etc. Not that far in editing just yet. So what I did was I copy pasted any of the questions I could find and put them into like a notepad, and I'm just going to read them off. I'm not going to say who they're from because majority of them are from the people who watch this. So, you know. Anyway, first question I have here is, what's your favorite video game series? My favorite video game series is Fatal Frame. The first 1, 2, and 3 are for PlayStation 2. Fatal Frame 4 is for the Wii, but I never got into wanting to play that one because when they moved it onto the Wii, I was just like, nope, I'm not even gonna go there. Just nope. But for those of you who don't know what Fatal Frame is, it's a survival horror game, and you are character, and your weapon is basically a camera, and you fight ghosts, so to say. There's puzzles and jump scares, and it's the stories in them are pretty cool, and eventually all three of the main ones get linked together in some way, shape, or form. So I always really loved those games. I don't know exactly why they appealed to me, but I fell in love with them playing myself and then playing with my best friend. We've played the third one and the second one 1,000 times. So I'd have to say that's my favorite video game series. Next question I have is, what were your first thoughts on the Smosh/Wrestling fandom? And to me, like, I never used the word fandom. I didn't really think of things as fandom. It was just, you're a fan of something, whatever. So, and I've liked Smosh from the beginning. I didn't really do a whole lot when it came to, like, Twitter and social media and stuff. So really, I just was a fan of them and watched videos and things like that. And the whole wrestling thing, I never really considered myself a fan in the fandom. I just considered us like a bunch of fans. And well, yeah, that's kind of the definition of a fandom, but I never thought of it as a fandom. I just was a fan of it. So I don't really know what I can say about my first thoughts on the fandom, but my first thoughts on, like, I haven't really done anything with the Smosh fandom or spoke to any of the fans from that really. So I can only really comment on the wrestling thing, and that's just from my part in streams and whatnot. And my first thoughts on that was just some of the stuff in chat. I was just like, oh, these people seem kind of funny and whatever. Maybe I can jump in on this or something like that, you know? So my first thoughts were just that they're other people and they're silly and funny like me. So I guess it was good thoughts. The next question I have is, would you rather spend a day in the past or an hour in the future? For me, my past was not that great, so I probably would choose to spend an hour in the future, not necessarily to ruin or see what I have to come, but I would rather stay away from my past and look more on to the present and look more farther into the future for what's to come. So that's my answer on that. The next question I have is, if your name wasn't Kitty, what would it be? I know if I was gonna be a boy, I was told that my name was gonna be Jamie. So I guess if my name wasn't Kitty, that's what I'd be. I guess I'd be Jamie, because Jamie could go as a girl's name too, and a guy's name. So guess that's what my name would be if I wasn't Kitty, I suppose. Unless you're talking usernames, then I don't really know. Unless you go back to my older one, which was Pixel Rape, or if you go way back, it was Toxic Vampire. But if you're talking regular names, then yeah, my name would have been Jamie if I wasn't Kitty. Next question I have is, what's your favorite food to make? In general, I really enjoy making pastas, because there's so many different ones you can make, like, especially with, like, pestos, and you can throw in vegetables, you can throw in meats and cheeses, and I get really experimental when it comes to my pastas. I've made pastas that have random pieces of pork chop and then cheddar cheese and spaghetti sauce, and it actually turns out pretty good. And then I don't really get to make a lot of pastas at work anymore, but back when we did, I enjoyed making pastas doing that as well. So I guess pasta is my favorite food to make. My favorite food to eat is probably like steak or another kind of pasta because I really like pasta. Next question I have is Johnny Cash or Elvis? And to be fully honest, I've never really listened to either one of them that much. I've heard the songs and stuff. Like my grandmother's a huge Elvis fan, and I have friends who are big Johnny Cash fans. But myself personally, I don't really listen to their stuff, so I can't really choose a favorite. I can't really choose between those two because I don't really listen to them. So that's the only answer I can really give on that one. Next is favorite book, and my favorite book. Geez, I've got so many of them. But I guess I'd have to say my favorite book is Memoirs of a Geisha. And I can't think of the author right off the top of my head, but I know it's a Japanese name, so I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway. um, but it's like a biography on uh, a woman, the steps she takes from child all the way up to becoming a full-blown, like, famous in the world of geisha. So it's actually really cool, really intricate, and then there's some odd parts. There's some parts that you're just kind of like, whoa, that's kind of weird, but that's how Japan is, I suppose. But that would have to be my favorite book. I've got a lot of favorites, but that would probably be the top one if I had to choose, because I have a lot of books. I read a lot. Next is favorite TV show. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV anymore. I used to watch it a lot, but we don't even have cable here because we just watch everything on like Netflix or watch online or YouTube and whatnot. But back when I was a kid, well, maybe not a kid, but like teenager, I was really into like Invader Zim and Inuyasha, and then when you count when I was really little kid, like in elementary school, I was like obsessed with Sailor Moon. I had Sailor Moon everything. I had Sailor Moon backpack, Sailor Moon lunchbox, Sailor Moon pencil crayons. I had Sailor Moon pencil cases. I had Sailor Moon clothes. I had Sailor Moon shoes. I had everything Sailor Moon. I loved Sailor Moon so much when I was a kid. Like if I could like get my mom here, she would go on and on about how much I loved Sailor Moon and how I like never missed an episode and was like, "Oh my god, Mom, we have to watch Sailor Moon." Da, 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 da. I was so into Sailor Moon back then. I don't even know why. Next is favorite movie, and some of you, I told this on Skype the other night, but not all of you know. My favorite movie is P.S. I Love You, with Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank, I think. Yeah, something like that. But Gerard Butler's one of my favorite actors. But the movie P.S. I Love You is such an adorable movie, and the story is just heart-wrenching and adorable and cute. And I know I'm not the most cutesy, girly person around, but that movie really, like, I don't know, just kind of holds onto your heartstrings. It's just like, you sit there just like, oh, the whole time. And I've watched it a million times. I can quote the entire movie, but I could watch it a million more times just because I love it so much. Next question is other fandoms that I enjoy. I guess really the only, like, fandoms I'm part of is like Smosh, Wrestling, and I guess what do they call it, Markiplites. I'm part of that, and of course you have to join me in making videos too, don't you? You're a little star, aren't you? Oh, my cats. But yes, I'm a Smosher, I'm a Wrestling, and I'm, as you would call it, a Markiplite, and he's gonna crash my video, aren't you? Yeah, God love you. And the last one that I was able to find was my favorite type of music. And my favorite type of music, I'd have to say, is like rock or metal. Like, I like Avenged Sevenfold and Metallica, 3 Days Grace, Theory of a Dead Man. So, like, I like a mix of rock and metal. Not like death metal, but like screaming. I'm not big on screaming, but normal metal and rock probably is my favorite type of music. I like a little bit of pop stuff. Like if it's got a catchy tune to it and I'm all like dancing and stuff, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I'm not it's not gonna like fill up my phone, I suppose. I was gonna say iPod, but I've got an iPhone, so. And majority of it's full of like Avenged Sevenfold, AC/DC, Metallica, 3 Days Grace, Theory of a Dead Man, There's a little bit of Nickelback on there. I know a lot of people hate Nickelback, and I don't really know why, but whatever. I will admit that I like them. What else is on my phone? I got Bullet for My Valentine on there, but I got kind of out of them. I got Daughtry and, just rock, some acoustic stuff, some metal on there, some older 80s stuff. So yeah, that's all the questions I have right now. I might do this again another time later on when I can get some more questions, maybe some personal ones, and we can get deep down and into the get to know Kitteh a little bit and my past or something, if I can work my way to talking about that to a camera. But for now, I guess that's all, and thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this and learned a little bit, I suppose. And I'll see you guys next time. Meow for now.